Hi, I'm Jodie Foster.
And I'm Kaylee Reese.
We're here with Harper's Bazaar, UK.
Okay, this was your first TV role since 1975. Damn. What made you want to sign on for True Detective?
You know, I've been directing in television a little bit, and I enjoy that. And for me, streaming this is the golden age. This is where all the good narrative is right now. I mean, mostly, for the most part, theatrical mainstream distributors have sort of abandoned making real stories. They're really in the superhero business. So I wanted to get out there and find something. And this was the first time that I found something, and I knew immediately. I mean, I know you did too, right? The second you read the scripts, you're like, where do I go?
Yeah,
How do I get there?
Absolutely.
I felt that way. All right, this is your third ever movie role. Are there any similarities between your acting and your boxing careers?
None at all.
None.
I'm fine.
No.
Now, there's a lot. I mean, the more I feel like I've been training for acting while I was boxing in like a weird way, because it's familiar. It's way out of my territory, but I'm very familiar. I can navigate it pretty easily. I mean, the repetition of having to practice when you're training for a big fight, 8 to 10 weeks, 3 to 4 months, and you practice and practice and practice, and you sharpen tools. It doesn't mean that you're gonna do the exact thing when you get in the fight. The bell rings and the fight can change. You're not gonna just keep jabbing because that's what you practice. You have to think on your toes. But there's something like boxing, you can't hesitate. You can't do it 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You have to commit completely. Somebody like Navarro in this story, you have to be completely grounded in your character so you can think, talk, speak just like the character, and that's not something I was taught. It's just kind of something that worked for me. So that the ability to be able to check all the way in and all the way out, that's something that's very similar. That's helping me especially navigate this without any training or any nobody told me how to do it. I'm just kind of figuring it out.
Yeah, it's the dropping in, and I think sometimes, I always wonder what my life would have been like had I gone to Juilliard or something, or had gone to acting classes. And I think that's what whatever training is about, is just giving you tools to be able to drop in. However, whether you need music to do that, or whether you need hours of humming, or maybe you just don't need anything at all. You just need a cup of coffee, which I think I'll have right now.
All right.
Why do you think this season of True Detective has been such a huge success?
I think it's been such a huge success because of, Issa created a masterpiece story. I mean, the storyline, it's only 6 episodes, but it's so convoluted with so much information. The storyline, the characters, it's funny. It's a lot more funny than I thought. It's spooky. It kind of has something, it checks all the boxes. And it's based in Alaska, which is a place that we never see.
Yeah.
And we have 2 really cool leads. I'm just saying.
Just
saying,
that's a reason.
That's the reason.
I would agree with all of that. And it's wonderful that in some ways it has small references to season 1 of True Detective, which I love so much. I think all of us love so much. That's the opportunity that you get with anthology, that you're able to pull some of the best things from the original season, but then take it in a different direction.
Why do you think people are calling it not True Detective?
People are calling it not
like
True
not
Detective?
part of True Detective. What do you think would make it?
I don't know. I think they are not used to anthology. And anthology, I think, is really the next place that streaming needs to go, right? Because you don't want to just keep repeating seasons over and over, these circular stories. It's better to have, just new ideas.
What was the most challenging aspect of filming?
Well, I think the most challenging thing is always going to be the weather. It was cold. It was cold.
It was cold.
But there were a couple of things that were challenging. I had one challenging thing. I had a moment where I'm supposed to fall through the ice. And I kept saying, what are we going to do? I'm not really going to fall through the ice. Of course not, because I would have died. So they built a tank, and I had worked with a free diver and had to learn how to hold my breath for long enough to be able to sink into the water. They put weights in me, and I was wearing a coat and boots and everything else. Problem is that I can't see because I'm so blind. So I wear contact lenses, but I didn't want to wear contact lenses in the water, so I couldn't see. It was dark. And on the top were these icebergs, so there's only one spot that I could get out of to get breath, and I couldn't get up there because I was weighted down. So when they said cut, then the diver would come in and kind of save me and bring me up to the top where the hole was, and that was panicky.
Nope. This is my response to all that is no. No, I felt when you had to do that, like I said, I only experienced the tank from up top, but I couldn't imagine that.
Yeah, there was something. The first take was really bad, actually. I was a little bit like, am I gonna die? Am I gonna die? Do they realize that I can't breathe?
She's doing so well acting like she's dying. No, she is. I think it was funny because, like you mentioned, we can't say our lines, and you don't notice until you go say your lines. But that's the realism of being out in that cold. I mean, luckily, our characters had a lot of layers. Heated socks, heated vest, heated I think they have like heated underwear. I didn't try them, but they had heated underwear.
The heated underwear.
No,
but the only problem is you have to breathe.
Yeah,
that's a problem.
You know, the breathing part wasn't that. It was trying to say my lines, not sounding like I just had a stroke. That was the hard part.
Yeah, there's a part in the trailer where I say like, "Stop fucking around." It looks like I'm like Donald Duck or something.
Yep.
Do you have a favorite scene from the show?
I do. I will say the birthing scene in the beginning of episode 3. I absolutely love that. I've never personally witnessed a birthing scene, a water birth, but then to be there with all of, like, I felt like I was surrounded by a bunch of aunties. Like, it was amazing. It was so authentic. They were throat singing. Everybody was, laughing, and it was just very family oriented, and I didn't have many scenes with all the Native women, so that was probably my favorite day. What are some of your favorite on-set memories?
Oh, there's so many good on-set memories. I mean, of course, the best on-set memory was being in the middle of shooting and then looking up and there's Northern Lights in the middle of the night, sort of surrounded by your friends, and you're all seeing this thing that's only gonna last 10 minutes or something, and it's just this miracle, magical moment. That was something for me.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Was that your first time seeing Northern Lights? It couldn't have been.
No, I'd seen them already from my apartment, but that was the first time that I'd seen them with everybody else there.
That was awesome.
Yeah. I have to say, I do laugh a lot at Danvers and at Danvers' relationship with Navarro. There's a lot of really funny moments in it, and they really weren't. Not sure they were on the page.
No.
They just sort of happened in the moment.
There's like a lot of like poking, like you could bring out, I think Danvers brings out the little kids, stop making fun of me kind of on some areas, and then there's sometimes you see Danvers talking to Navarro like she's one of her kids, like she's a 6-year-old, and then it kind of reverses too, like that wasn't planned at all.
No, it just kind of happened.
Yeah. What was the rehearsal process like for you? Did you do anything to prepare?
Well, I prepare by just thinking about the story and doing a lot of research, obviously. And those two things, when you come together with the collaboration with the other actors in a room, you just start talking about what things mean. And, why did they say this? And where does this come from? And do you think, you just start asking questions.
Asking the right
That's asking the right questions. Yeah, it's a funny part of the process. Like, that's how you deepen. You just ask questions.
I noticed that, like in rehearsal, the questions that everybody was asking had us all thinking and creating. That was really good stuff. And me and my husband Brian do that. He'll help me with the backstory, but he takes it off. Like,
does he?
I'll share Navarro's backstory with you one day. It's pretty.
Okay.
It's comical.
Oh, nice.
Yes, it's funny.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm not sure I get that far. Interestingly, I think I kind of do a little reverse engineering of saying like, okay, what is the whole show about, and then how do I pepper that into the character? So I go for the text first, and then I figure out the character second. We all do it differently. Thanks so much for watching us with Harper's Bazaar UK.
It's been a pleasure.